I'm looking at the other songs on this album and I was like, what was there another option for what that first song could have been? It could have maybe been Welcome to New York, which is just like thematically
a great first song for the album.
Yeah, but doesn't do the same thing as the first single.
Blank Space was the second single, which was also very powerful.
Amazing, but very much a caricature. Different purpose.
Again, a very different purpose.
And then you have Style and Out of the Woods, which are both very upbeat, but also different purposes and different feelings.
And would have steered the conversation in a very different way.
Correct. And the fact that this song is not about romance, right? Let's take a pause and think of when you think about the purpose of the song or what it's actually about. She mentions, I go on too many dates as a criticism that she gets. And then you have in the bridge, my ex-man brought his new girlfriend, but it's not about romance. It's just about the bullshit in general that is in the world and that people say about you. I also, in this song, really started to get glimpses of what becomes reputation. So in the whole song is actually about like, what are people's perceptions of her versus who she actually is. And we know that in Reputation, she's playing on this idea of like, there's what my reputation is, what you think you know about me versus who I really am. And so the first two verses in this song are what people think about her and what they say about her. And then the two verses after the first chorus is what you don't see and what you don't know, but who she actually is.
That's actually such a good point, because actually when I think about it in context of what became Reputation after this, I feel like really sad for her for a hot second, right? Because this woman started off on such a high note with this album, best album of her career, like hands down to this day. People agree, I think, in many ways. And like, she was so determined to keep shaking it off.
Right.
But then somewhere through the release of this album, the new level of fame that she got to, all the new scrutiny, I mean, it got so bad that she got to a point where she couldn't even engage, no explanation necessary. She just like leaned into her dark side. And like,
I gotta go.
The fact that she just got pushed into this little like retreat, like she had to almost retreat.
She did.
After this, it makes me a little sad, but
it is sad. And I think it's also
a success story looking back.
It is, but I also think, there are things in life that we talked about, stop complaining. There are things in life that you just kind of have to brush off and move and keep moving. And then there's also things in life where you have to protect yourself.
Well, like if this album was all about just shaking it off and not letting it get to you, Reputation, I feel like, is summarized by, well, my reputation's never been worse, so you must like me.
For me.
That's like where she got to. Like she went from up here to like, I'm just
top of the
world to like bottom, hit rock bottom, and she's like, I mean, the bar is low. If you like me, then we must have something, because frankly, nobody does right now. But even the fact that she was able to own that and just say that rather than fighting back, I guess, speaks volumes.
Yeah. And again, we talk about how she's still her, even as she changes genres. And I think even that line, like, you must like me for me, it is in the context of a romantic song. But just like we said with this song, I think it's also for the fans, the fans who stick with, and she keeps she gives these invitations. She extends her hand so often to her fans of saying like, I'm doing this for you, like if you want to join us, I want to have you here. And I think kind of what you were saying too, this song, it feels like, yes, it's a therapy song in that like dancing can be like a way to process, but it also reminds me of therapy in that like she's not trying to change the haters, she's not trying to change the players, she's shaking it off. And that's like I talk about it in therapy, and everyone else I know in therapy kind of talks about it, of like, what's in your realm of control and how can you center yourself in that? What can you control? And then how do you manage that? And that's what this song is like, you guys do what you're gonna do. I can control whether or not I respond, and I'm not going to. And I think that's kind of it feels just slightly different than Mean. It feels like a little bit of a growing up of, and even with the Reputation, I was thinking about it of like, there was too much going on and she couldn't control the narrative, but she could turn it off. She could turn it off. Yeah. And so that's what she did. And again, that was when her realm of control, like that was her version maybe of shaking it off in that time. Shaking it off isn't always going out to a party. Sometimes shaking it off is saying like, I'm fully removing myself from the situation and just not engaging anymore. And like, that's okay